Hello, friends. This is Jaya for the session of digitalization, where we'll discuss the different aspects of digitalization, or we can discuss about what are the benefits using this digitalization tool in our business module. That is an online part which we are talking about. So, first scenario which we are dealing with the thing that is a scenario between the two friends who are working in tours and travel business, where Bob is earning more and Bob is earning less, whereas the David is earning more. What is the reason behind why Bob is earning so less in his business? The reason behind that, Bob is continuously using a traditional way of method to completing all the query complaint requests of the customers, but it is taking a lot of time to complete it on time. Whereas, on the other hand, David is using the traditional way of method where digitalization method, where he can completing all the complaint request everything of the customer on time instantly. That's the reason the customers are really happy with the service and they wanted their service more and more from the David. So that is the reason why David is earning more and more in his business. And Bob is struggling to get his business run smoothly. Now, in the second slide, we will understand what is the actual difference between the traditional and digital method. So, when we talk about the traditional method, there are more manpower is used, more time consumption is there, very high costing is there, slow processing, and the chances of the errors is very high. But on the other hand, digital method is a less manpower is involved, less time consumption is there, very low costing, very fast processing, and more accuracy. So the risk of the errors is very less in a digital method tool, where when we applied it on our online business module. So that is the reason why people always recommend the digital method for his business module. Third point, third slide comprises of what is actual digitalization. If we want to explain digitalization, it comprises of the four pillars. First is technology, second is data, third is process, and last is the organizational change. When we talk about the technology makes, creates, or modify the existing technology which is working in the website of the business module, so it makes an effectiveness and transparency for the both business and the consumers. Second comes the data. So when we are doing this technology part, it is interconnected with data events. So when we are talking about the data, there are number of data analysis to be done for the product, for the brand in today's market situation. So if we have that analysis, we can compile those data, we can keep it online, and we can keep a track for that data so that we can understand what is our real situation in today's market. Third point comprises of process. When we talk about process, it means a automation process. So automation process is like it modifies or it simplifies the complex business activities, which makes the process effective and transparent for both business people and for the consumers. Why? Because everybody wants that, the consumers want a friendly interface for their website or a app which they are using. In the same way, the business people who are running their business on an online platform, they also want that the consumer should not go here and there. Everything should be visible, should be transparent for the consumers, and they don't have any problem with the app or a website. Last point which is connected is the organizational change. When the customer demands very high demands with the brand or the product, so you have to improvise many activities in your organization so that you can meet up the demands of the consumer, so that you can make the consumer happy with your brand and with your product, so that the person can come back again and again for the repeat purchases for your product. So that is the reason why digitalization is really important for our business to run smooth by this tool. That's the reason we take a digitalization tool a very important rather than a traditional method. Second slide comprises of the importance of digitalization. When we talk about digitalization of the importance, they are having a three factors which comprises the importance of digitalization. So when we talk about the importance, the first factor comes around the risk of the errors, which are, if we have discussed in the earlier side, that the risk of errors is very low when we are talking of a digital tool in a business module. So everybody, even a business who's running it in an online platform, they always want that the error should not be there in their website or an app or whatever they are running or whatever in their product. There should be no errors. That's all they always want, is so that the consumer should be happy with their brand and with their product as well. But in a traditional method, this factor cannot come because you are doing each and everything in a physical manner, and where it is taking a lot of time. And in today's world, the consumer doesn't want or doesn't wait that much of time to get that service to be done. But here, the digitalization always increasing efficiency and transparency between the business people and the consumers. Second point comes around when you collect all the data regarding your product, regarding your brand. What happens that you keep it and save it on an online platform. But sometimes when you have saved that data, so you keep those data on an online platform, and it can be that it can be lost, it can be crashed, it can be stolen. The files can be do it can be done anything. But there is a one advantage when you are saving those files on an online platform, and that is that you can retrieve those documents, and even you can fix that error in your system. But can you think of that we can do it in a traditional way of method? I don't think so, because it is really difficult when you are trying to do these things in a traditional way of method, because you have to start from the scratch. But in a digital tool, it is really easy, and you don't have to keep a bunch of papers with you, and it will be really helpful for it that these things are very secure when you're keeping it in an online platform. Third is the retention of the customers. So if you are running a business on an online platform, and your customer support representative is really good, and he's very proactive, he or she is proactive in solving the queries, complaint, requests of the consumers will be really happy. Why? Because that consumer feel that they are listening to their queries, listening their requests, and they are trying to solve it. That is a think that consumer feels very happy when somebody is listening to their complaints, their problems, and they are trying to solve it. So when they do this point, when they are solving the queries on that particular way, the consumers are really happy, and they will come back and back again to do the repeat purchases on your website. And even they can recommend your brand or a company to the other people, even your website, so the person would come back and do the purchase. So here, what all points comprises of, you retain the potential customers. Secondly, you can increase your customer base, and third would be the increase in profits while doing that customer support thing in a very proactive manner for the consumers. Second slide comprises of the examples of digitalization. So when we talk about the examples of digitalization, there are many examples. Even you can nowadays you can just scan the photograph and keep it on an online platform. You can do a digital signature while filling up any form regarding your admission form, or you are doing some smart watches there where you are just integrating in the online system. Then you can if you're looking for any properties, and if you have to put a rent or something, you can just fill up all the things on an online platform, and you can keep it secure. Whereas these things cannot be done in a traditional way of method, because there are a lot of bunch of papers, and nowadays no people want to keep that much papers with their side. They only want to keep it online, and it should be like very easy to track everything in a digital point of view. And that is the reason digitalization is playing a vital role in the business tool, where they can't is they always simplifies the activities of the business that makes it effective and transparent for the consumer. That's the reason digitalization tool, according to me, it's a very important tool if you apply it in your business. Then the next slide comprises of the advantages of digitalization. When we talk about the advantages of digitalization, so your in your mind it comes like it is a time saving, it's a cost saving, the risk of errors is very low, it is an easy distribution, the documents are secured, and it is increased in profit. So when we talk about time saving, it is that when we don't have to travel anywhere. You can just look it up in your laptop, see the website and check out all the details, whatever you are looking for, the product brand, or even you're looking for a houses. Second, cost saving. How it is a cost saving? Because you're not traveling from one place to another to get that particular thing or a product or a paper or anything. So that time is saved and your cost is also saved. Third is the accuracy, where the risk of their errors are very less and you are getting the accurate results for the business things when you are doing or when you are running that business on an online platform. Easy distribution whenever you want to talk about your brand or your company or any information about your product. So what you do, you just put that information in social media pages where you can just uh, grab the attention of the number of consumers. But when you're doing in a traditional way, you can't do that because it's really not easy to distribute in a physical manner. But it is really easy when you're taking that digital tool in your business way, and it makes it easy that you can just give all the information in a social media pages and you can grab more and more consumers for your website or an app. Second point is the secured. When the documents, which I told in the earlier slide, the documents are really secured when you're compiling all the data or analysis or anything, and you are kept in that online platform. It is really secured. It is nowhere lost. If it is lost, also you can retrieve the data and you can fix that error. Last point is the increase in profits. And how would you increase that profit? That is always come in our mind in the name of consumers, because if there are consumers, you have your business, you have your profits, you have your brand, you have everything. But if there are no consumers, you can't do anything with it. So that's why if you retain those potential customers, you can increase your profits for your business day by day. So that's what concludes the entire digitalization tool, because these factors comprises the digitalization. It defines it, it makes it a complete aspect, and the uses and the benefit of digitalization in an online business tool, which are really very important. And these factors are really not available in traditional view of method, because traditional is a very tough thing to do it, to get your business running, because you can't go back and forth to the consumers to get all the details about your brand or a product. But in a digital tool, you can get all the things through your feedback, through your proactive service part. So these things you can get it efficiently in a digital tool while running a business on an online platform. Now we have comprised the entire thing with the topic of digitalization. What are the aspects, what are the users, what are the benefits, and how it comprises the tool for the business model. So now we are concluding with a case study, which is I'm dealing with the QR codes, and it's a really easy thing to do it in your business. If you apply it, you can get through what you want actually for it. So that's the reason when you are talking about a QR code. So QR code, it's a trendy thing for you, and you think it's really important for your business to apply it, to implement it, because these things make your way of running the business really smooth. That's the reason today's case study is based on events, which in which the QR code is implemented. And we they are the points which, when we are doing this case study, while the QR code is used in the event system. So what it is actually and how it is beneficial, how it is enhanced for an online event system or event management. So that is what our case study is to be. So I'll discuss the first few points for this digital event digital management. So, my first question which comes into the mind, what is event QR code? So that event QR code, which is scanned by the consumer through a smartphone. So, what all things can be scanned in that particular QR code? There would be the landing page would be with all the information, event details, the area, venue, everything would be deal, and that is what it comprises, or it is called as a event QR code, which is really easy when you are doing an event management or even you are planning for doing an event. So these think that every normal person has this image. What is the first question which clicks in the mind is, what is the event QR code? So the event QR code is when it is scanned by the consumers, it should go to the landing page where it has all the event details, venue details, the location, Google Maps, each and everything which is there in that particular QR code. So the next point which comes in all your mind who are doing the business in this event management. So how the event QR code can be useful. So to share this multimedia content in that QR code, I think it's too much of videos cannot be done, but we can do we can add one or two images to whatever the content you are marketing for the venue or for the event to the consumer. That is really helpful. That is one point which comes to a mind, that to share the content to the consumers. And how it can be shared, it can be shared through a QR code by adding those one or two images in that particular QR code, so that the consumers who are scanning it can get a picture of the event description. Second point, in this QR code, you can do a map location. You can give a map location through this QR code. This is actually a advantage while using this QR code in this event management. So whenever you give an invitation to your consumers, to your attendees, the people who are attending your event or your trade show or any shows, so if there is a Google Map attached to that QR code, it is really, really helpful so that they can understand where they have to go. They don't have to wait that much of time, and it makes it really easy for the consumer to go through it, and it's a really effective advantage for the event management. So, how can you add the next question? So, the second point which I wanted to know, that which comes into my mind. So, this is the first point, that okay, you can share the content, you can share the Google Map. Third, how would you connect, or how could you add that event to that particular calendar of the consumer's smartphone? So when this event QR code is scanned, whether it is in a flyer, whether it is in any image, if you're campaigning in a social media pages also, so the main thing, when you scan that, the consumers, when it scan that particular QR code for that particular event, so it is automatically saved to the calendar of the attendees. So that is the main important thing when we are talking about. So this is the main thing when you take about, when you are trying to promote your event, that is, you can share the content with the images. Second, you can attach the Google Maps to that particular QR code. Third, you can provide that how to add your event to the consumers while using this particular QR code. Second point would be, how would you provide the entire description of the event? That can also be done, but you can not put that much of content, but you can put the the main plus points of that particular which describe the actual event of yours which is happening nearby, or the consumers are scanning for it, which helps to get the list of speakers, what is the event all about. So these type of things can be attached with the QR code. So these are the point which makes the event more successful. If these points are jotted down, if you are doing it in your business for the event management while using this QR code. So second point comes when you have done this part, when you are given the event description. So you have to connect your event to social media pages also, because that is the easy distribution. So how would you do that? So whenever the person scans, so it whatever you are putting out the event for your, it's a trade show or it is anything, so it should be linked to your social media pages. And why? Because uh, I can explain my situation that whenever I went to some exhibition or any trade shows, so the first point which comes into that particular mind that, okay, if I'm selling a product to you, as a the consumer goes to one of the booth and wants to look about any product, so what I have seen the general things that people always talk about with, if you want this product and the product is like a higher cost, so every people want that the quality should be good but the price should be a little bit less if you're going to an exhibition or something. So it's a general mentality. So when we are talking about this, so the first thing which the people who are standing in the booth for that exhibition, what they do, they ask the consumer to please follow in our social media pages so that they get the followers. And secondly, in the same way, when they are following that particular product or particular brand, they will get all the information about their brand and the product. So it is a vice versa, because it is useful for both. It is useful for the business and it is useful for the consumers if the consumer like the product or he is really well interested in that. So every time when you are organizing those events, you have to link those events to a social medias, so that the person you can link it with, and they both are effective and in a transparent way where the both are useful for it. So the second point comes the QR code, the use of QR code for seamless check-ins. You all know nobody wants to stand in long queues, which you all know about. And why? Because that every person has their own time and priority, and nowadays they don't want to stand in queues. Okay, so what they do, either they scan it through the QR code, get the registration done in that online platform, so that they have only to show that ticket or the registration number and they can just go through that event instantly without waiting for the queue or waiting for the service to be done. So that's the reason it is really really important that it should be seamless, it should be effortless, and every person who is doing this event management and the people who are going there having their shops, it should be very friendly for the consumers, that they don't have to and just wait for their time to come. So everybody wants, okay, I show my registration ticket and I just go away, go to the particular event and check out all the booths. So these are the things when we are doing an event management. It is both helpful for the consumers as well as when you are looking out for the business purpose. And even when you're doing this registration, when you're scanning through the registration to go through a registration part, you can track those how many scans have gone through that event, and you can compare it that how many attendees were there, so you have a clear picture that how much this event is successful or it is not successful. This is the way that QR code enhance that event management part, that it becomes an important tool when you are managing or you are organizing the particular event in your location area or wherever, which city is it in, or even in other countries. So these things are really important. And last thing which comes of a customer feedback. So you all know when we are talking about these things, so the main things which comes in our way, that is a Google feedback. So nowadays, the events are so in our city. If I talk about in my city, what happens that when we enter to some event and we visit it to them, because we have scanned and all the things have been done. So what they do actually, they give a form, a Google form, where there are certain aspects for that particular event to describe it. So. How your experience goes, whether you like that event or not, whether it was useful or not, whether the pricing in the booths were good, other the people in the booths were very polite nature or not. So these things comes in a feedback when we talk about the customer experience, attendees experience, which is really important for both the organizer and for the consumer, because everybody have to understand while organizing the event, the consumers are really important. If and when they give that feedback, you can improvise that particular things in the future events. That is really important, because if you don't get that feedback, you can't do anything. So that is why the event management through this QR code are really important. So the points which I take away, that would be, first of all, uh, the event description part, means the QR code should be editable, where whenever you want to edit something about the information of the event or the venue details or anything. Second, you can attach the Google Map. Third, you can do the calendar. You can add your event to the consumer's phone through this QR code, then provide the event description through this particular QR code. Then you can link all the social media pages for this particular event which you're organizing. Second last, it should be a seamless check-ins for the events, and the last would be customer feedback, because this is goes all in hand when you are organizing a particular event. So that is what I like the most when we are organizing event, because I go through a lot of events, a lot of exhibitions, and I have a good experience. Why? Because I used to do everything in an online platform, whether it is a registration part, whether booking the tickets. So I neither wait for it, but I get an ambience. I get to know about how many booths are there. Like the last exhibition which I went, it was like 57 counters were there, but I can get through. There were a different number of counters were there, the people were different, the ambience was different. So when I get, after returning from the event, I got that Google form to fill up those details, ki what was missing in that particular event. Yeah, I did not like anything in the event. So this is the complete experience when we go to an event. This is according to consumer feedback, but according to the business part, the event organizer always try to give more and more friendly ambience, more and more friendly things to the consumers, so that the event should go smooth. So this is what our case study today, and this thing is somewhat is related, where I'm representing the company of UX Living Lab, where it's a market research consultant. I'll show you the thing. This is a site. Actually, we are the market research consultant, where we talk about the customer insight, customer feedback. We used to make the analytical reports, where you can try we can try to understand where your product or the brand is standing in today's market situation, which is really important. And we can try to give you the ideas that how to improvise your product or a brand in such a way that it should be good in between the consumers. So that's the reason what we are doing it. And I will be sharing you the calendar link for the same, that you can book an appointment with us and get in touch for the same. Secondly, you can also If you want, you can post your questions on the comment section in the Facebook, and so that I can try to give you the exact information about the same. And if there's something you want to know about the company, how it works, how the products works in our company, we'll try to give you each and every situation in it. So that's the reason we are working for it, and we are really happy to help you, the consumers. So for me, it's a main thing to focus on consumer needs, consumer insight, and consumer feedback. And we will try to innovate the things. We'll try to give you new ideas to improvise your product. That's right now for the session. I can tell you these things, but if you want further any information about a company, about our products, or our pricing, I'll be very happy to help you out in this thing. And whenever you require an appointment, you can just go through an calendar link, and even I'll provide you the QR code to come to this page, understand this page, how we works, how it get us done. Because here it's everything is done on a simple QR code, and it makes your life easier, and which everyone wants, whether it is in a business or whether it is in a domestic life. Everybody wants their life to be very easy through this things, that they don't have to go here and there. It should be in a perfect landing page where they want to go. So that is all about digitalization, and the case study about how the QR code is really important to the event management system. So this is all about the session. If you have any suggestion where you want to have the topic to be discussed, you can also ping me in that, so I can prepare the same for it. And if you need a further discussion for it, I'll be ready to help. Thank you for joining the session.